Good day to our esteemed guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege to be part of this 2021 Research Colloquium and to be able to share some data and comments on this interesting topic. How are Tvet colleges responding to open learning? Is blended learning the answer? Ladies and gentlemen, in order to do justice to this question, I carried out a mini study which will form the basis of my presentation. The response by Tvet colleges to open learning, mainly in the form of blended learning, has received much attention in the last few years. The COVID pandemic accelerated blended learning initiatives. As opposed to closed learning, which is restricted to traditional face-to-face lessons, open learning is an approach that deals with flexibility of learning provision. Blended learning in my presentation is regarded as the integration of different modes of teaching and learning. This includes the traditional face-to-face lessons, online lessons, TV and radio lessons, and the use of technology such as WhatsApp to enhance teaching and learning. Remote learning is a subset of blended learning and refers to colleges enabling students to participate actively in learning when not at the institution. This mini study investigates the state of blended learning in Tvet colleges. The data collected from 49 of the 50 Tvet colleges suggests that while there is steady progress in the use of blended learning by Tvet colleges, there is also great variance between the colleges. Data regarding blended learning was collected from 49 of the 50 colleges through a survey. Program Director, I must convey my gratitude and appreciation to regional managers who worked with principals to ensure this 98% rate of return. Data was collected in 8 categories as a percentage. The first one was a percentage of academic staff with laptops provided by the college, percentage of students with laptop provided by NSFAS or the college, percentage staff who have been trained in blended learning, percentage of academic staff who have access to connectivity at the institution, percentage of academic staff who have access to connectivity away from the institution by data provided by the institution, percentage of students who have access to connectivity at the institution, percentage of digital content developed, and lastly, the blended learning in Tvet colleges from 2019 to 2021. The data received from the 49 colleges was analyzed and then collapsed into the 6 regions that we currently have. And the averages per region, per category, were then illustrated in the form of a bar graph. In addition, for each category, the maximum percentage obtained by any of the 50 colleges, as well as a minimum percentage, will be provided to illustrate the variance between colleges. The names of colleges have been excluded as the intention of the presentation is to provide a trend analysis in the Tvet sector. This bar graph illustrates the percentage academic staff with laptops provided by the college. The average percentage per region is shown in green, while the national average is shown in blue. For this category, which I was pleasantly surprised with, 4 regions are around the 90% mark, which is quite impressive, especially as a few years ago, many colleges were closer to 0%. The national average is also at an impressive 78%. College principals must be complimented for driving this initiative. After removing the outliers, the maximum percentage from the entire sample of 49 colleges is 100%, while the minimum is 10%. For a college with a 10% staff being in possession of laptops, many blended learning initiatives will be severely compromised. This bar graph illustrates the percentage of students with laptops provided by NSFAS or the college. 5 of the regions are between 21 and 33%. The national average is 26%. These relatively low percentages are expected as the NSFAS laptop initiative only commenced this year and the delivery of laptops is continuing. However, some colleges have excelled in this category with one college supplying 90% of its students with laptops. The minimum percentage was 5%. The provision of laptops for students is critical for off-site or remote learning. This bar graph illustrates the percentage staff trained in blended learning. For this category, the national average is 69%, which is quite commendable. The regions range from 53 to 89%. As the capacity of staff to implement blended learning is built, their confidence to offer blended learning will improve, and so too will the effectiveness of this strategy. While the maximum was 100%, which is brilliant, the minimum stood at a worrying 5%. This is a category where regional managers and principals can address quite easily with minimum cost implications. This bar graph illustrates the percentage of academic staff who have access to connectivity at the campus. For this category, the national average is 81%, which is again quite commendable, noting that the DHET connectivity project is still ongoing. The regions range from 71% to 97%. While the maximum percentage stood at 100%, the minimum was 2%. For the college at 2%, the challenge may be related to local area network, which can be resolved relatively easily. This bar graph illustrates the percentage of staff who have access to connectivity provided by the college whilst away from the institution, for example, when they are at home. For this category, the variance between regions is extremely high. The range is from 24% to 88%. The national average stands at 48%. This is an area where the DHET can play a role by negotiating with national telcos for a reduced rate for college staff. As much of the preparation is done by academic staff off-site, having access to data is critical. During the COVID alert levels 4 and 5, academic staff without laptops and data were severely limited in their capacity to support students. This bar graph illustrates the percentage of students who have access to connectivity whilst at the institution. As much work is currently being done in this category, it will improve quite quickly over the next few months. For this category, the national average is 50% and the regions range from 32% to 64%. The maximum is 100% and the minimum is 0%. As more and more students are provided with laptops, it is important that students have access to connectivity whilst on campus. They could then download important resources which can be used off-site. This bar graph illustrates the percentage digital content developed by the institution. For this category, the national average is 32%. The range between regions is also quite high, from 12% to 47%. The fact that the maximum is at 90% indicates that the development of digital content on a large scale is possible. This is a category where colleges can partner with each other and pool resources to develop digital content either at a regional level or, better still, at a national level. Regional managers and SACPO can play a critical role in coordinating such initiatives. I have witnessed the appetite of colleges to work collaboratively together on such initiatives, which is very encouraging for their sector. The development of a high-quality digital content is priceless, including having the best lecturers presenting lessons to students in remote and rural areas where, at times, it is difficult to attract qualified lecturers in scarce skilled subjects. Probably the most important of all the graphs, this bar graph illustrates the percentage blended learning implemented in colleges from 2019 to 2021, 2019 being pre-COVID. For this category, the national average increased from 17% in 2019 to 47% in 2021. I was extremely impressed by this data. Principals must be commended on their concerted efforts to optimally utilize technology to enhance teaching and learning. All regions show tremendous growth in blended learning initiatives for the period under review. Whilst the max stood at an impressive 90%, it is worrying that the minimum is at 5%. The Minister and the DHET are highly committed to supporting colleges to increase the use of technology to improve efficiency and effectiveness. Consequently, a number of initiatives were introduced, the first being the Tvet College Connectivity Project. This project entails the provision of high-speed connectivity to over 300 sites on the SANRAN network. The project is around 80% complete. Many colleges are reaping the benefits of this project. The second one being the provision of laptops to NSFAS beneficiaries. All qualifying NSFAS beneficiaries are provided with laptops. The rollout of the laptop project started this year and has gained much momentum. The third initiative is the National Guidelines for Blended Learning. Ms. Aruna Singh spearheaded a project to develop guidelines to provide colleges with relevant information, ideas, hints, best practices, and strategies on how Tibet colleges may start or enhance their blended learning journey. In my concluding remarks, I will reflect on the research question. How are Tibet colleges responding to open learning? Is blended learning the answer? Colleagues, what does the data suggest? Blended learning initiatives at Tibet colleges are growing at a rapid rate, from almost 0% in 2018 to 47% in 2021. But there is still room for more growth. We need to improve our efforts even further. The data also amplifies the chasm that exists between the colleges regarding blended learning initiatives. The variance is extremely high, with a minimum of 5% at one college and 100% at another. This variance creates an opportunity for colleges to partner with each other and improve blended learning initiatives. The region and SACPO can play a critical role in encouraging partnership formation between colleges at a local, regional, and national level to help uplift the entire Tibet sector. The DHET must be commended on the initiatives to support colleges in their blended learning journey. The connectivity project, student laptops, and the national guidelines are impressive building blocks upon which the blended learning highway can be constructed. The majority of principals and staff have embraced blended learning, which is commendable. Some colleges are trailblazers. During my interaction with them, a number of colleges have developed very innovative solutions. From the Kupula academic support system at Katsibande to a state-of-the-art lesson broadcasting and recording facility at Isiyedi, to the open learning unit at Majuba offering large-scale distance education, the list is growing rapidly. Ladies and gentlemen, is blended learning the answer? Although there is no study to suggest a causal link, a cursory analysis of the 5 top-performing colleges in the recent semester 1 exams and their percentage progress in blended learning shows a strong correlation. Blended learning will see the death of the practice of lecturers standing in front of a classroom reading from a textbook. Blended learning has a potential to ensure that learning is vibrant and enthralling. Student performance could consequently improve dramatically. Due to the massive costs associated with building new infrastructure to improve student access, remote learning opens up the possibility of increasing access with relatively low costs, although the startup costs may be high in the short term. A South African student from a poor home in a rural area should not be punished for being poor and being born in a rural area. Blended learning can play a pivotal role in ensuring that these students also have access to the best lessons by the best lecturers. Blended learning is not a choice anymore, but it is an imperative. Our institutions, students, and staff deserve nothing less. I thank you.